Hello? You there?
Yep.
I think Jim froze.
Well,
Oh, there you go.
it's a frozen. That's what you call a cold open. It's definitely a cold open. We had our open freeze on us. Well, okay. An auspicious start, but we'll catch up. I'm Jim. He's Sean. Down below is Amadeus, and we're here to talk with you as we always are on Monday through Friday to talk soccer. And just before we came on, Amadeus was breaking down the Women's Champions League for us. And please, pray tell, Amadeus, what have you for us today?
Oh yeah, well, I wasn't really breaking it down. Just Sean was asking about it, so yeah, I got the lines here. I actually haven't been following the Women's Champions League
Just bet
too much.
the two Olympic Lyonnais and PSG today, and you'll win money.
Yeah, you think Lyon beats Chelsea? Chelsea's got a very good women's team.
Yeah, I think the French team results yesterday. Barcelona won 1-0. Bayern Munich won 1-0. And maybe we're at a leg stage here. You're not getting the 10-0 games. So, like earlier in the season.
Yeah, these are the
Quarterfinals.
So quarterfinals, okay.
Yeah. There's not a lot of soccer today. You got, excuse me, Sierra Leone tied Sao Tome and Principe, and Benin tied Rwanda. You got Nepal, who beat Laos in a huge rivalry match, 2-0. India beat Myanmar. Couple decent games later, Ireland and Latvia and 45. Evan Ferguson should start for Ireland. Guy's a monster. And then El Salvador, Honduras, which is a rivalry. Could be an interesting game. They're just friendlies. You got
tomorrow's the good stuff.
Yeah, tomorrow starts the good games. There's some U19 games. You usually can't bet on that stuff, but they're actually some decent U19 games today. But tomorrow, yeah, you got Italy, England. I went on Monday night on by the book and said my favorite bet of the whole round is North Macedonia, Malta. I mean, North Macedonia 1.5 you can get for like plus money. It's crazy.
I saw that.
Malta's got about 100,000 people, and 90,000 of them work for betting industries. So they're not playing football, at least professionally.
Yeah, well, this is the North Macedonia team that kicked Italy out of the World Cup. So
yeah, they're not terrible.
Even home
game. I mean, I still don't think they give North Macedonia the kind of respect they deserve, and they're starting to earn. Tomorrow you also got Northern Ireland against San Marino, and those I feel like those odds are not terrible.
So look at this. So Northern Ireland is minus 2,000 against San Marino, but
I have 1667, so even better value.
Yeah, but the total is minus 250 for the over 2.5. So they're basically giving you over 3. But they're expecting Northern Ireland to win this game by 3 goals, four goals. So tell me where do the odds?
Yeah, the Asian handicap here is 2.75 is about minus 110. So I mean, they're basically saying it's going to be 2 or 3-0 with when you look, because the over under 3.25 is. Over 3 is 159. Over 3.5 is plus 108. So basically, they're saying it's going to be 3-0 or 4-0. So you can get Northern Ireland at minus 2.5 at a minus 148. Northern Ireland's not terrible.
San Marino is like one of the only clubs to never win a game. They'd have 0 wins in their club history,
and they also have like plumbers playing for them. Like everybody that plays for them has jobs. I mean, look, the glamour tie tomorrow is Italy and England. That's obviously it's going to be, fantastic game. I'm done with
1-0 Italy right there.
That's what I said. Italy's beaten them the last 3 times at home.
They've beaten them. If you look at the history going back to the 80s, they've beaten them like 5 out of 6 times.
Yeah, they do really well against England at home.
They get up for England. That's what it is. They get up for the English.
Yeah, so that at plus 190 at home is interesting, but really, North Macedonia at minus 286. Northern Ireland. You got there's another Denmark, Finland. Like Denmark against Finland. Denmark minus 1.5 is close to minus 110, minus 115. I thought that's a pretty good play tomorrow.
I don't know about that one, just because Eriksen's still out, right? And
I think he's going to play for United. He's back for United.
Is he? Oh, okay. So he's a little. I was going to say he's ahead of schedule.
Yeah. He should be. They should have Eriksen and Martial back for the Newcastle game. They probably won't have Garnacho till mid-April or end of April. But
what about Rashford? He's out now too, right?
Nah, Rashford just backed out of the. He just wants rest.
He just wants. Okay, good. Better for Italy tomorrow.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, look, he was there. He's been there. He's been arguably one of the best players in Europe right now, and that dope. Didn't play him in the World Cup, even though he had, he led England with 3 goals, and he came off the bench.
Yeah.
So
that's Southgate for you.
Yeah, he's terrible.
We knew going into the tournament he was going to be England's downfall in a way.
There's 2 games on Friday that, I think there's 2 interesting games: Netherlands and France. France is, really obviously really good, and they're bringing some younger kids in. Thuram's brother Kefram and Kamavinga and Tushmeni and all these guys. Axel Desai's coming in from Monaco, who's been linked with Manchester United. Netherlands I think is a little Weghorst. They'll be in the Nations League, but then the Sweden-Belgium game. Belgium is plus 120. In that game. Look, they're still good. I mean, they're old, but they're still pretty good. So to get Belgium there at plus 120 is pretty interesting money. I'm not even going to try looking at Turkey. I don't even care. They always suck you in.
No. Who's Turkey playing? Hold on. Who's
Armenia?
I didn't even see that one. Is that Saturday? Oh,
yeah, minus 240. I no interest in that.
Just take the over 2.5 and thank me later.
Spain plays Norway, which will be interesting Saturday.
Turkey's always good for goals. So that'll be like a 2-1 game. I couldn't tell you who, but it's going to be a 2-1 game for sure.
England plays Ukraine on Sunday. Netherlands plays Gibraltar. Netherlands minus 10,000 there. Spain plays Scotland. Spain against Scotland. Spain's only minus 157 in that game, which is crazy because Scotland's just okay.
I don't have those odds yet. I only have up to Saturday. I got the Spain-Norway minus 300, which
so there's a lot of there's a lot of different games. I think it'll be pretty interesting. And then I started to look at the other day. I started to look at futures for Champions League. Napoli is now plus 350, the same price as Bayern Munich.
As they should be. Best team in Europe.
They're going to walk. They should walk to the final.
And I think people are starting to realize, the more we say it, people are starting to realize maybe these guys have a point when they say Napoli's the best team in Europe.
I would admit, hey, look, I mean, I'll be honest. We've been saying this since probably the week 2 after they kicked
Liverpool's ass
in the first match 4-1, and everyone was like, wow. And then they just kept scoring and scoring and scoring. Like, after that first thing, I'm like, what? I'm sold on this team. Like, I'm just going to and they just every single game. This guy Osimhen, everybody's chasing him, but they want 150 million for him. So, it's going to be pretty interesting to see because, if they go and they win the Champions League, which I'll tell you, they could at this point. They should be in the final. If you're in the final, you have a chance. Everyone's going to want, Vicha and Osimhen and Kim and all these guys. But, if they win that £100 million, that could keep these guys. They could sell Osimhen too if they win the Champions League. That's $250 million. You can go out and buy 7 players with that at this point, and really just keep this team together. There's I know they're looking at the kid from I forget where, Belgium maybe, or something like that. The kid that plays for USG, who's also from Nigeria, is pretty good. No interest in international football. We'll stick with South American games. Serapatino, Newell's, Velez, and Santa Fe today did me proud. Yeah, Foxy, I think, it's interesting. There's some value, but not once again, it's tough to bet this Italy-England game. It could be 1-0, 1-1, whatever.
Just take the under.
North Macedonia.
Not that hard to bet.
Some of these smaller teams, that are looking to build here. Evan Ferguson playing for Ireland and stuff. I think those are more interesting games sometimes. So I mean, I don't really. I'm going to watch the games because there's nothing else on. But I'm going to be doing a lot of work this week. From Wednesday. I actually have to cover my first baseball game tomorrow. But if it doesn't rain, I'll watch them. But yeah, no, I started looking at the Champions League and the other, even the Premier League, the next game, because you got. The next round after the international break, the first match back is City Liverpool, which is fantastic. I think that's going to be an interesting game. Manchester City's playing really well now. You got Brighton and Brentford, 2 teams flying. Palace and Leicester, 2 teams that are falling apart. Nottingham Forest and Wolves, 2 teams that are down at the bottom. Chelsea and Aston Villa, always interesting. West Ham, Southampton, 2 teams down at the bottom. Everton, Tottenham, and then Manchester United has to go play the richest team in the world, and they're underdogs. We're the plucky underdogs. Wouldn't bet the England game, but would be amazed if we lost. You know what, Foxy? They've lost 3 games in a row in Italy, 1-0. It goes back a long time, 10 years. They don't play well. They play well. The games are tight games, but. When you look at here's England, Italy. Let me show you this.
I'm telling you right now, Foxy, you guys are going to lose. Don't be shocked.
Let's see. I hate when they do this, man. I don't care about their last matches against thing. I want Italy and England, man. That's why I like SofaScore better, man.
I use for some of the international, I use a site called 11v11.
Okay.
They go back to the 1800s sometimes if these teams have been playing that long.
I use FC tables too, but sometimes they don't do the stuff here. So here's the history of England, Italy. Nations League, obviously, Italy won 1-0. And England
kicked them down to Group E. Won the Euro Cup last time.
European Championship, obviously.
I'm just soaking it. This is the one good team that I cheer for, guys. Just let me soak it in.
Friendlies here in the World Cup. Italy won. Friendly 2-1. Italy here 2-1. Italy 1-0. I mean, that goes back to 1970 and 1980 and 1990. So in Italy, those aren't neutral games.
The one game England won was a game that didn't matter.
So yeah, I don't really like the England game, to be honest, Foxy. I think there's better games on the board than that. I think it's better to maybe find some of those smaller teams. But yeah, you got when you come back, you got those games, and it's really the Premier League is so crazy right now. I mean, when you look at Italy's over. You know what else? So Italy's done. You know what league is dodgy right now? The Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's close.
I mean,
it's tight.
Bayern Munich is in second now.
Right.
And they play, how about this? The first match back, man, they always do this stuff, man. But Borussia Dortmund is on 53 points and Bayern's on 52. The first match back is Dortmund, Bayern Munich. First match back. So right away they play on.
You're in the fire.
Because they know it's easy for you to forget about the Bundesliga after 2 weeks off, so people need to be like, "Oh,
Wait a minute.
Dortmund and Bayern."
Yeah, it's that 12:30 match right away there. I think that league is interesting. The championship, it's not really interesting. Burnley's 16 ahead of Middlesbrough with a game in hand, and there's only 9 games left for Burnley, so they can only Burnley will win the league, and then the second place Sheffield United is 3 points ahead, but they have a game in hand over Middlesbrough. But then you look at this. Yeah, Italy's got a bunch of key players out. Italy are bang average at the moment, Foxy. What do you think about that, Amadeus? He's saying they're bang average.
Well, England has players out too. Arguably, your best player, Rashford, withdrew from the. I think Grealish withdrew from the squad as well. So I already said my piece on this game. Italy wins 1-0, but the safest bet is probably the under because we know it's just going to be a defensive stalemate. I think you can agree on that, Foxy. It's just going to be like this. That's how Italy always gets England. They lull them to sleep for 70 minutes in a 0-0 match, and then they catch England off guard for 5 minutes, score the goal, and then England's scrambling for the last 15 because they caught them off guard. That's how it goes.
So here's the
I wouldn't be shocked to see 0-0 though. I really wouldn't be shocked to see 0-0.
Here's the table in the Premier League. The top Arsenal's 8 points clear of the game in hand. United on
they're winning it.
Tottenham on 49, but played 2 more games and they're imploding. Newcastle 26, played 2 less games than Tottenham. Liverpool on 42, played 2 less games than Tottenham. Brighton's played only 25 games. If they win all their matches in hand, they will be in the top.
And you know what? Me and Jim were going over this Brighton schedule to finish.
Oh, it's brutal.
No, it's not even that brutal. So they have this tough stretch, right? Where after Brentford and Bournemouth, they play Tottenham, Chelsea. Yeah, they gotta obviously play that City match because the United FA Cup semifinal is gonna affect that. But after that, right? Let's say they find a way to get the Man City match in there. This is their last 6 matches of the season. Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Everton, Arsenal, Southampton, Aston Villa. They easily could win 5 of those matches, I think.
Yeah.
So I think I'm still going. Jim asked me this question yesterday, who I thought was going to be the top 4. And I'm sealing in Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Brighton. This is my top 4 in that order.
Brighton's going to beat Newcastle?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
They got a game in hand.
Wow. Foxy.
No, he was yesterday. He was solid on that. He said he wanted Brighton. That was gonna happen.
Brighton's they got games in hand. The last 6 games are pretty weak in the schedule.
Arsenal will lose the league when they play City away, then Chelsea, then Newcastle away, then Brighton. Man City catches out. I've been saying that for a while. They do have a little bit of a lead here. And, really in that City game, they just need to draw. If City beats them 7-0, obviously, it'll make a difference. But the goal difference is about the same here. So, if City would probably need to do that pretty quickly. But
Holland is scared. Called Arsenal the best team in the Premier League.
The bottom of the table is crazy. Once again, I still don't know who's going to go down. But
12 to 20, man. 12 to 20.
But there's going to be, there's a lot of so many games that'll change. I mean, all that stuff will change 50 times. So I don't know if you want to talk about the USA blowing it yesterday.
Oh, I mean, I find it a little funny that Otani struck out his teammate to win it. And then they say the World Baseball Classic was a huge success. That's going to be some good chemistry when they go back to the locker room, to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Very successful opportunity that you had there. Too bad we weren't around to see it.
The fact that the USA has only won this one time, Japan's won 3
Right.
out of the 5. And Japan's finished in the medal. They finished third the other 2 times they didn't win it, so they got to semifinals every single year. In the United States, they finished 4th in 2009. They didn't place in 2013. They won in 2017, and they finished 2nd in 2023. I think, maybe you got to. I don't know. Maybe instead of stacking the lineup, maybe you got to bring a couple pitchers to the game.
That would help. Remember, guys, back in the 80s and before that, when Little League Baseball had an international situation, and the Japanese kids would come here and they would pitch, and nobody could hit them, and they would win. And the same thing for Korea. So, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised that they have good pitching because, it's look at the guys. I mean, Hugh Darvish last night was good. So, they had better pitching. There were a couple of opportunities that the U.S. Had to score a run and they screwed it up. But, at the end of the day, they got 2 home runs, one from Schwarber and both Phillies, right? Schwarber and Trey Turner.
Look, I mean, I think that's the whole problem with baseball now. I think I talked about this the other day. It's, they need to get away from everything being a home. You can't just score runs on home runs. You got to manufacture some runs sometimes. And they just don't do that. It drives me nuts in these games. The Yankees are a great example. I mean, they lose all the time because they can't ever manufacture a run. They're waiting for somebody to hit a home run. And then, when Judge hits 136 in the postseason, guess what? You're not winning.
That's what the short porch is for, Sean.
But I think we talked about this before. I know Amadeus and I did. Nobody knows how to bunt.
Yeah, you were big on that. Nobody knows how to do it these days.
So how, moving a runner over, moving them from first to second, moving them from, second to third, put yourself 90, because half those guys will throw a wild pitch anyway.
The Yankees got swept last year. The Phillies Padres was a different series. The first game was 8-5. The second game was 8-5. The 4-2, 10-6, 4-3. I mean, there was a couple close games, but there was runs scored. The Yankees, and they lost the first game 4-2. Then they lost 3-2. So, in 2 games where you could manufacture some runs, they couldn't. They got shut out in game 3, and then they lost another 1-run game in game 4. They scored 5 runs, but it's another 1-run game. You got to try. The Yankees every year. I mean, you look at the futures odds. Goes one of my plants. The futures odds, they're up there all the time. Well, until they can find a way in the playoffs to manufacture a run against some of these pitchers, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Well, the Yankees, a big thing for them was just Houston. It's like a massive roadblock.
They can't beat Houston.
Didn't they lose like 7 of the 10 during the regular season that they put, or what was it, like 5 to 7?
Yeah, that's fair. Should the MLB change the name to World Series?
The major series? What are you thinking, Foxy? You can't just suggest that and not throw a suggestion in the pile.
Right. Well, Chris, Amadeus and I have been really good at this, so you want to call it the crypto series? That's fine.
I was about to say, Jim's literally throwing us heat like Crypto Dome, and Foxy's just like, Jim will come up with the new World Series.
The Continental Series. I make it from one part of the, we won our, we didn't even win our continent. So I don't know. We'll have to.
No, I guess USA won the continent, you could say, because they were in the
Yeah,
finals. They lost to the Asian continent.
Right. So we're number one in North America. Yay. I don't know. It's well, again, it's kind of like watching World Cup, right? The Premier League is the best league, but doesn't mean that all the players, are English.
Yeah, no, definitely, right? And that's the thing. Like, look at the NHL is a great example.
Sure.
Every goalie's from Finland or Sweden.
That's
or Russia.
Serie A.
Seriously.
Look at Serie A right now. Why is Serie A, why is it so good? Well, your best players from Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
you could argue now.
I'm expecting to see them in the next World Cup. I was surprised they missed this one. I'm expecting to see them there.
Nigeria?
No, Italy, right?
No, Nigeria.
Oh, yeah. You could make the case their three best players are from so I mean they're starting to get some better players.
Same with Liga 1 though, right? They get a lot of the African players coming in, and it really adds a lot of excitement to the league.
Yeah, they call it the League of Talents. I mean, they got all those young kids in there, and
look at the NBA.
Yeah, there's a Fofana. First of all, there's a Fofana on every Liga 1 team. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, look at how things have changed in the NBA. I mean, there's a lot of fantastic European players that come over and play.
Yeah, number one pick this year is going to be
big.
Yeah,
the number one pick is going to be, the kid Wanyama.
Wembanyama or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, 7 foot 1 point guard. I mean, 7'2" point guard. I mean, guys,
he's like that.
He's French, right? From France.
Yeah, he's a freak. He plays for I forget now. They're saying now he's 7'4".
He grew 3 inches.
In the beginning of the show, yes.
He plays for Metropolitan 92. He's averaging 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and he's shooting like 50%, and he's only 19. Wow. He gets doubled without the ball. Like they just, it's crazy. Like, I mean, the guy's just a freak. So,
he's 4. What are they gonna do? They're like slapping at him. What are they? They're not looking at him eye to eye.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, what can you do? Like, if they got, see the standings.
Well, let's just hope he doesn't pull a Purdue and hold the ball at his waist.
It's
a little bit above the head.
If he Detroit right now has 16 wins, the Rockets and the Spurs. If he ends up going to the Spurs with Popovich, man, I mean, you're talking about Tim Duncan 2.0 here. I mean, it'd be interesting, or Charlotte with
I'd like to see him on the Pistons.
Banchero. I mean, he's going to change one of these teams.
Because I think the Pistons already have Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham. They have some really good young players. I think you throw him into the mix and, maybe the Pistons win 20 games next year.
Marvin Bagley. I mean, you maybe they can get rid of Buddy Boeheim.
They just picked up, I think, Bogdanovich this year too to add some experience to the team. It was very.
They also have James Wiseman now.
Oh yeah. So there you go.
They got. Imagine you put Wiseman and Wembanyama in the same team, man.
Look, we had Dwayne Casey at Toronto, so he's a great coach. He really is. He got put in a bad situation in a bad city. That doesn't win.
They're not even trying to win this year. It's crazy.
Well, they're really injured too.
Teams win trophies. They say English FA Cup winners are English Premier League champions. Never understood why NFL and NBA will be its world champions. Because U.S. runs the world, man.
Well, first of all, they don't play the NFL much in anywhere else, so that would be a fair one. And the others are, if you want to challenge it, let us know. We'll pass it on. We'll give it to the league commissioners.
I mean, he's got a point with FIBA.
With what? I'm sorry?
He's got a point with FIBA. There are some teams out there in Europe that could beat some of these American teams.
Yeah, I mean that's European
hockey as well.
The European,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, European basketball is, Real Madrid and some of these, where Luka came from, and some of these teams, it's pretty good. The UEFA, the Champions League for basketball is really, the games are pretty good. So, it's not that bad.
And the funny part of it is some of those teams have Americans on the team.
Yeah. Some can't make the NBA, so they got to go elsewhere to play. Look at the Ball family. They went to Latvia to play for
right. That's true.
For years. So,
what Kobe was going to go to Italy.
Yeah.
To the team where his dad, Jelly Bean, played.
Yeah, there's definitely some good teams out there in every sport. But yeah, I'd have to agree. I got to agree with you, Jim, on the NFL thing. I mean, like where is the sport played other than Canada? Like where else is really American football played?
The Canadian rules are much more fun.
Are they really? You like the Canadian rules better?
It's just it's
every play is a false start to me.
That's
That's the wide receivers at full speed.
You get a running start. I mean, so I like the rouge. I mean, that's kind of cool. Stuff there.
The ball is huge.
Right.
It's tough. It's
250-yard lines. I mean,
it's a wider field, and I guess it's 55, and then the post at the front I don't like. Mm-hmm. Like that's a lot of players use it to run like pick plays, but it's just a neck injury waiting to happen. Someone's gonna just run into that, dive,
smash, hit the wall. Yeah, it's it's crazy. It's funny, guys. I'm getting blown up on Twitter. I made an appearance yesterday on a radio show in Dallas, and we were talking about a bunch of different things. And I just we were talking about the Big 12 conference, and I said, well, one of the things that helped the Big 12 conference is they got BYU. It's worth serious money for them to do that. It was smart. I didn't realize that the state of Utah hates either are for BYU or you're getting BYU, and so of a 15-minute interview, the 10 seconds that I chose to speak about Utah was simply the only thing that Twitter cared about. So anyway, meanwhile, back to the Rangers. Yeah, no, it would be fun, and I think it's going to come that way, that we are going to have a World Basketball Championship where there will be NBA-type action played, all over the world. Because I think that's the closest right now from a standpoint of American sports to being like a World Cup.
You think there's going to be some kickback, though, or pushback against this from, specifically maybe Mets fans about this, Diaz being out for the year? Like, I mean, they're like, oh, yeah, we'll pay.
Well, the owners don't love it.
He's insured. I don't care if he's insured, man. I just paid my closer $150 million. Now he's out for the year. Like, guess what? That division was decided. It came down. It was a tie. So Atlanta won the division with the better record. So you lose a guy like that. Now all of a sudden you're in the wild card game or the wild card round, and you saw what happened last year. So instead of winning the division, that's my problem. I think the stuff with the World Cup in the middle of the season, people were worried about it. It actually worked out because the players were in better shape, to be honest. Now there's injuries.
Except Jesus.
Like now there's injuries because, you're playing all these extra games and stuff in a condensed period of time. So you're seeing that. So because, not for nothing. Like, I mean, I'm sure Foxy will say the same thing. Like, I don't really care about the U.S. or anything. Like, I'm interested. I don't want my players getting hurt, or if I'm I like the Rays. I mean, if I lost a pivotal player for the whole year, I would be pretty upset. But I don't know what the solution is. I mean, play after the season, but if somebody gets hurt, you're still hurt. But I know it's a freak thing that he got hurt celebrating, but if he's just playing in a preseason game, he doesn't get hurt. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution would be. I know for like these other sports like basketball, I mean, it's crazy. This summer, the players are going to have a little bit of a rest, a little bit, because the season ends in like June.
Yeah.
You know, if the FA Cup final is June 3rd, and the European final is June 10th. Well, you know, the season starts. The Premier League season starts like I think it's like August 12th or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's August.
Yeah, but you know, it's August 12th through May 19th. But you know, they're going on tour in America, and you know, these teams, Arsenal, all these teams are going on tour. So you know, you get about 3 weeks off, and it's just like crazy. And then then it's all internationals, because then you got a Euro in 2024, and then it's all internationals the following year, because you got a I think it's just like there's no break. It's just crazy. They just keep. It's not just soccer. You know, the baseball is like the same thing. You know, there's no. They have some time off, but half these guys play in the Dominican League or something in the Caribbean or something like that. It's just crazy how the season is.
Well, the season ends the last day of of September, and then the postseason ends sometime just before Halloween, and you're back at it in February.
Yeah, and you know it's.
But I think the longest and the worst is basketball. My God, I mean that game.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. I mean, you know, these guys are getting paid a lot of money, and always people say, you know, well, you know, for all that money they should be playing. Yeah, but you know, if you're paying them all that money and they're hurt because you're playing 150 games a year, doing all this extra stuff, like, you know, it's not really worth it, is it?
Well, no, when you put it that way. No,
I just think, you know, I mean, it's just, I mean,
yeah, I mean, look, there was a time when playing for your country was something that meant something. I don't think it means as much now as it does. And I think that's because a lot of players are world known, right? So, you know, it's not, and a lot of times the best players don't play for their country in events. Like we were talking about the World Baseball Classic. You tell me that there couldn't have been 4 pitchers from the United States that could have pitched?
You're telling me Lance Lynn is the best you have to offer?
Who's sitting there, who decides not to go, right?
The craziest thing right now is, you know, in 2020, in the season that started 2022-23, right? The three players that have played the most games of any soccer player in the world right now are Bruno Fernandes, played 51 games already.
You mean the Portuguese guy?
Yeah, 4,410 minutes. Marcus Rashford, who's played 49 games, and Lisandro Martinez, who's played 49 games and 3,500 minutes. Rashford played 3,400. So sometimes they get him off. I mean, I
feel like a lot of that has to do with the depth of Man United, though.
Some of it is. I mean, and also, what's his name is, you know, Regan Poole, who actually was, you know, with Manchester United at one point. He's played 46 games. 4,000.
This sounds like a Ten Hag thing here.
Wow.
He's just putting the same lineup week after week.
You got, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Fede Valverde are 11, 12, 13 on the list. They've all played 47 games.
So the common theme here is basically the star players of the big clubs.
Well, it's the clubs that are playing all these extra games. You know, Manchester United's in 4 still, you know, they won 1 and they're still in 3. You know, Real Madrid has to play. But then on top of it, you know, you had to play all those extra games in the World Cup. And now the problem is you're playing like from the time the World Cup started and now in the international break, like Manchester United played like every day, every third or fourth day. And it's whatever. I like it. But, you know, and then they get back, they play every third or fourth day. I mean, they just keep they're trying to cram the stuff into these places. And it's all down to And you couldn't start the season too early because then you don't get a rest from last year. And the COVID thing screwed everything up because that pushed everything back. That's the other thing. So, like, there's been all, like, between COVID in 2020 and the World Cup in 2022 and the Euros moving to 2021, it was like an absolute disaster for these guys. Like, they never get a break. And now you don't want you don't want, I mean, Bruno Fernandes is like a robot. I mean, he'd rather play, but you don't want your star guys being injured because they're getting overworked at the same, so it's just crazy. But I mean, it's the same thing with baseball. These guys, this World Baseball Classic was, it's a little bit higher level play than spring training games. Spring training, I know you're trying to get ready, but like, I mean, there's some competitive nature to it. So,
it's really baseball.
Some of these teams that are playing into November, all of a sudden you're 162 plus, 15 playoff games plus, 5 or 6 or 7 World Baseball Class. That's a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here in South America, they're passionate for club teams, but there's so much more for a national team. I think it's more nationalistic there. Foxy, I think, obviously England, USA, I think it's, it's the club stuff. I mean, England specifically, unless you're a lot of the train, you see a lot, the English band, all those guys, it's like National League teams or League Two teams and stuff like that. But, they also have passionate followings too. But, I think that's
Sean, when what was it? What year did they put baseball on the Olympics? It's been recent. They
took it out and then took it back.
They took it out because
I think just for Tokyo, wasn't it?
There was a battle between Major League Baseball and the IOC. And so Major League Baseball decided, okay, fine, we're not sending our players, we're not participating. We're going to have our own thing, which is the World Baseball Classic. So they created the World Baseball Classic. So the monster that is eating them up is the guy they created it. So, they're pissed off about the IOC not wanting to pay the players to play. And so, there's that, because the first team that went out there to play for the United States was basically AAA players and college kids. There wasn't any major big name players who played in the first World Series. In the first Olympic where baseball went.
The other thing too is I think you see this with like that it will never happen in NFL because those contracts aren't guaranteed.
Right.
So if you got hurt, sorry, you lose your contract. But baseball, if they get hurt for the season, like it sucks, but they're getting paid. If when Harper was out for he's getting paid $30 million, so like it doesn't really matter. Like I know he's competitive and stuff, but these other sports, your contracts are guaranteed, so and their insurance and stuff like that. But it'll never happen in football because no one will play those. I'm not going to risk getting hurt for what.
The insurance, by the way, ranges anywhere from 70 to 80% of the contract. So.
I'd be mad if the Mets. I just signed this guy for $25 million a year, and I had to pay like $5 million. I mean, I would be like, look, you're paying all of it. I know that's not the rules, but like that guy Steve Cohen probably will try to bully him into paying that.
Yeah, well, it's like only the Mets, right? Could have something like that happen. Someone who gets hurt celebrating, not getting hurt on the field actually playing.
And he'll go out and buy somebody. Well, it's not going to be anybody comparable to the guy they just paid $150 million to for 5 years. The trumpet guy and all this stuff, like they're not going to find somebody of that level.
That's the worst part, Sean. We're not going to get to hear the trumpet this year.
Yeah.
The warm up song coming out of the bullpen.
Yep.
That remember when they did it? They did it live a couple of times. The guy showed up,
In the playoffs, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then you heard that song in every stadium, in every sport, the NFL stadiums, the hockey arenas.
That's okay. In 2019 when the Nationals won, I heard Baby Shark every time, it came up to the plate. So it's like, okay. After a while, it's cute. Then it gets really unnerving.
You know what? Another song that blew up because of the World Cup we just had was the song called "Let's Get Down to Business" by Tiesto, which
Tiesto, right?
Yeah, they played it right before every. It was after the anthem, and as the players, I guess, were taking their thing. I have heard it in every basketball, every hockey arena. Just I'll be watching, and the whistle will go, and that's the song I hear in the background, and every time because I like the song. I actually did some digging to figure out what the song was during the World Cup, and sure enough, now I hear it everywhere. And when I was just in Vegas this last week, huge billboard with Tiesto's face on it. He's a Las Vegas resident. So this guy has just blown up everywhere.
Yep.
Oh boy. It's crazy. It's totally crazy.
Going to be pro players playing Olympics anyway for all sports. Pro boxers being able to fight amateurs is ridiculous. That's the dumbest thing ever. I agree.
When the Olympics started out, it was literally people working the daily job, going out to throw the javelin or whatever.
It's supposed to be for amateurs. I mean, in theory, it's supposed to be for amateurs, and now it's about business. And look, man, what do I care if Novak Djokovic wins a gold? I don't care, man. Let me see the college players or these other.
He's gonna win the Grand Slam. I could have told you he was gonna win the gold medal.
Right. Well, look at what part of the thing here in the United States is we don't really have an Olympic. Our Olympic feeder system is colleges. Okay. It's not like when Germany and Russia and the Eastern Bloc countries were dominating the Olympics. It was because you went to an academy where that's all you did. You studied during school, and then you went off and you played sports. We don't have that. We don't have that kind of an Olympic system in the United States. Our Olympians play, they swim at the university of someplace, right? So when David Stern decided to put together the dream team in basketball, he used it to promote the NBA. And it was brilliant for a while, but people got tired of seeing it. And David, to his credit, said, look, my goal is to one day come into an Olympics and see the Americans get beat by somebody else, because that means the game has grown around the world. So he had that vision, and that vision is coming true. As Amadeus, as you brought it up earlier about the competitiveness of basketball around the world.
Amadeus, did you see the story in Vanity Fair about Giselle?
No.
The first line: if Giselle Bundchen is a witch, she's a good witch.
Yeah, she's a witch, man. It's a thing. Fox had confirmed it's a thing in South America. You can be an ordained witch. Maybe witch isn't the term they use, but it's we don't mean it in a bad way. It's a thing, though. It's a literal thing.
She is how does she become a witch?
It's down there. It's like if you're like Gaia and stuff like that, the Earth and everything. Like here maybe it would be.
It's like how you can become an ordained minister here. You could be a witch down there.
But you can do that over the internet.
There you go. Go get your witch certificate.
I'm not sure I want one.
What would we would be warlocks? I believe is the
male term.
The male term, the warlocks.
Right.
But the only thing I saw referencing that Sean is that couple anyway. Ex-couple is I saw Tom Brady did a video with Mr. Beast. The most subscribed person on YouTube. So don't know what those two are doing together, but
Advancing Brady's brand.
I was going to say Brady always knows who to go to get back in the conversation. Oh, I'll just go work with the most subscribed guy on YouTube.
Well, he basically photobombed the subway ads. I mean, that was the ad agency didn't even want it.
Yeah, that's a classic, Tom.
Yeah, they're tweaking the batters to tweaking the.
They didn't go out and seek him. His agent said. So who knows, right? All right, boys. It's we're coming up on the top of the hour. Any final thoughts before we move on to another day here in paradise?
Yeah, I'll drop a free play for the people. I'm loving this draw in the Kazakhstan-Slovenia match tomorrow. Absolutely love the draw at the plus 230.
I like North Macedonia tomorrow, -1.5.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, I think,
No.
Cyprus or Malta, Malta might be playing guys that are on vacation from their job.
Malta's like a Moldova. They're bad.
Everybody that lives there is it's like a gambling mecca. Everybody
Gibraltar, right?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
One of my sports books is based out of Gibraltar.
One of my kids used to play there. Yeah, one of my kids used to play. Yeah, Gibraltar and Malta seem to be gambling mecca.
I had a friend who moved from Boston to Malta to work for one of these gaming companies, and he has to come back 2 weeks every year to keep his citizenship. But other than that, he's got, he's living the good life. I mean, that's not a bad place to hang out.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
So,
yeah.
Wait till they get a soccer team. That'll be good.
Gibraltar or
Malta?
Malta, yeah, they have one. They're playing North Macedonia.
Oh, okay.
That was Sean saying they're playing basically
a
bunch of plumbers and things. They're playing these guys that are literally like, I already bet against myself to lose.
Right. They're sitting at their computers making the bets while the guys are out on the pitch.
Yeah, they're sitting there setting the odds like, oh my God, they're playing us tomorrow? -2,000.
Yeah. It's burning these people.
You imagine being the odds maker and being like, they're playing us tomorrow. Oh man,
that would not be nice.
Go well for us,
right? It's like no nationalism there. Good.
Yeah, actually, and also if you can get Georgia, I don't have a line on the game, but Georgia's going to destroy Mongolia on Saturday.
The Mongolians.
Yeah, no, it's a friendly, but Georgia, this team, Sean knows, I talk about this Georgia team all the time in these competitions. They're a sneaky good team. And you know what? Look at Napoli's Kvaratskhelia, okay? So there you go. They're damn good players on that team.
That's right.
There you go, boys and girls. So, all right. Let's we will be back tomorrow, and we'll be ready to have some fun. And tomorrow's the madness returns. Only good thing is that it won't be in the afternoon; it'll be in the evening. So the madness, we can talk about the madness before it actually happens. So while it's actually happening. What?
Emphasis on the madness.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Until then, for Sean, Amadeus, I'm Jim. Have a nice day, guys.